will say just 2 words about the future of Asia as we see it happening. We don't think that the world will be dominated by anybody. And similarly, we don't think that Asia will be dominated by one single country or one single groupings. Like we don't, for example, think that 21st century will be Chinese century or Indian century or anybody's century. In fact, we think that there will be simultaneous rise of different power structures, different powerful economics and powerful integrational forces. We have, I read that the 60s, for example, in the American economic and political literature were dominated by the fear of Soviet domination. And then in the 80s, Americans talked about Japan overtaking United States in the world. And now the similar theme is converging on the fears of China. We don't think that will happen. We see that the growth of engines are changing. Instead of cheap labor and cheap resources and more infusion of capital, economies, including the Chinese economy, is relying more on productivity, innovation, creativity, sustainability. So we think that the technology in this new economy will level the playing field. We will see a more connected and integrated Asia. This is a map of Asia, and already here today we have ASEAN, we have SAARC, we have Eurasian Economic Union, East Asia Summit, APEC, and then regional comprehensive economic partnership negotiations, TPP 12, 11. So despite all these talks of protectionism and talks of decline of the free trade, we see more and more negotiations, more and more block discussions on the free trade. And then, of course, you see big white island in the middle of it. That's my country. We are staying out of integration, not because we don't want to. In fact, just to the opposite. We do want to be part of the integration. It's a question of letting us into the integrational processes. We have asked to be part of every integration, every economic union and bloc. So far, we didn't have any luck. In fact, the only bloc that we didn't ask to join is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and that's the only bloc that is inviting us to participate in their work. And then, of course, we see the future of Asia as people being more prosperous, more spiritual, and more conscientious, more liberal and democratic. And we think that Asia is uniquely positioned to take advantage of the new unprecedented opportunities that the new economy is presenting. We see that the new economy doesn't put premium on cheap labor or cheap resources or the infusion of capital. No. The new economy is all about connection, it's all about technology, integration, and it's all about human compassion and human approach to each other. It's paradoxical, but the more we are connected by Facebook, by internet, by Twitter, more disconnected we get from each other, nations, both nations and simply people. And we believe that Asia, which is a home to some of the most compassionate and humanistic societies and cultures in the world, is uniquely positioned to present its advantages and contribute to the world. And I would like to finish on the note that Mongolia is ready to contribute in this development, in the development of prosperous and successful Asia, not just its vast mineral and land resources, its enormous agricultural opportunities, but also our people who are, well, just 2 million of us, but we are very entrepreneurial, risk-taking, fast learners. We're survivors, and we are willing to contribute. And more importantly than that, we have one unique thing that nobody else does have, and that's the nomads' thinking and mentality and approach to the environment. We live in nature, at least most of us live in nature. Our ancestors lived in nature. It's genetically wired in us. We know that humans, Homo sapiens, are nothing but just part of the earth. And all together with all the different animals and different species, we should be part of the nature instead of subjugating and dominating. And I think that's the critical mentality that Asia and all of us can contribute to the world development. And on that upbeat note, I would like to thank you and again, thank the organizers for having me here. Thank you.